What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show powered by BetUS. This time, we will hopefully have a successful intro. We already tried the stream once. The internet in the studio was a little rough, so now we are going live from the living room, Eric, to discuss the Blazers blowing out the New Orleans Pelicans by a final score of 125-103. The Blazers, with their first win of the season, moved to 1-2, and after a tough loss last game to the New Orleans Pelicans, the Blazers avenged themselves. Anthony Simons avenges himself, as, of course, game one, Brandon Ingram hit a game winner. This game, Anthony Simons plays great, Jerami Grant plays great, and the Blazers have a really good offensive night, beating the Pelicans by 22 points. The Blazers also had 22 offensive rebounds, Ayton, Clingan, Avdia getting working on the offensive glass. Eric, how's it going, man? How are you doing?
Good. That's I see you just updated the bottom.
Yeah. I literally had to move out my laptop and my webcam and my mic, and my mic's on an arm, and just like reset everything up. And hopefully tomorrow's stream I will have a more permanent setup for that room, because I'd love to stream from that room. My girlfriend would love for me to stream from that room instead of sitting here on our couch right now. But at least I got the big screen Niners game in front of us, so got that in the background like you do. But of course, focusing on this stream, focusing on this Blazer team, celebrating the first win of the season. Man, Eric, I mean, they should be probably 2-1 right now. They should not have lost that first game against the Pelicans, and they take care of business tonight. You know, maybe if they did take care of business in game number 2, maybe they lose today. You know, maybe it's a different story, but they seem to come out determined, came out playing hard. There were no effort issues like there were the past couple of games. Crashing the offensive glass, and just a really impressive outing, a decent shooting night. The Blazers shoot 40% from three, and just an enjoyable game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought pretty much everyone who played in this game outside of garbage time played decent. The starters were particularly good in this one. It was a little bit of a rough start. Our offensive sets, the first few possessions, looked really stagnant and ISO heavy. And I was just like, oh, man, not this again. And then Ayton in particular was struggling to catch the ball. He had missed a couple shots already. And you lagging already?
I think it's my computer lagging, if anything. I think that was my computer. I think we're fine now. I think that was my computer. Okay. Yeah, I tried to put in a graphic. Okay, try to put in a graphic. Are we back, Eric? We good?
Wait.
The internet's fine out here. Fine out here. Should be fine out here. Anyway,
capture the lag. Anyways, Ayton didn't start off this game too hot. Seemed like it was going to be another one of those games, and they call a timeout, or a timeout was called, and he came out just playing really hard after that, and looked really good the rest of the game. But little worrisome at the beginning of the game, but they put all that to bed, and I thought all the starters played well after those initial few possessions.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, all 5 starters in double figures. They didn't let Jordan Hawkins get off like he did last game. Defensively, they were a little bit more sound. I think they did a little better job defending the three-point line, because New Orleans had some back-breaking threes in that game. And even though the Pelicans didn't shoot great from three in game number 2, they got a lot of quality three-point looks. I felt like the Blazers did a little better job covering the arc. And then defensively, Clingan, especially when he was in there, was really good protecting the rim. The Blazers were able to kind of wall off a little bit at the rim. It'd be interesting to see that rim finishing number that was dead last for the Blazers defensively last season. It'll be interesting to see that with more of a sample size, but I do think they're doing a better job not getting completely blown by on drives right now, and defending at the rim. You know, Golden State, it was a lot of threes, off screens, transition stuff. I think the half-court defense for the Blazers has looked pretty good the first 3 games, and I think that showed up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. that length with the 3-4-5 positions, or not the 2-3-4 positions, I guess it would be with our starting lineup, and then off the bench with Clingan being 7-2. It's just an element that we haven't had in a while with lengthy defenders we can put on people, and Denny, Timani, especially, have been doing a great job of keeping perimeter attackers in front of them and not letting them blow by easily. And so it's really putting our defense in a good spot to stay home. And really the only mistakes we're making is overhelping from the one pass away position, which has been a long time problem. But it wasn't too bad tonight, just a couple of times. But if we can just get some of those guys to stay home, realizing that they don't need to help off when it's Denny or Timani, because they're doing such a good job. I know they're probably used to having to help a lot in those situations from previous teams, but I don't think we have to help that much. And if we do help, it should be coming from Clingan, not or Ayton, not the side guys off of reaching in and trying to go for steals and digging those balls. So I think if the Blazers stay a little bit more disciplined, this could be a really, really good defense, and one that teams are going to struggle to attack.
Yeah, man. 103 points given up. It was 106 last game. The transition issues. I mean, New Orleans. I feel like New Orleans isn't necessarily the best gauge for this defense. Offensively, I feel like their half-court stuff is actually kind of similar to the Blazers. They don't really screen much off the ball, it seems, and they run a lot of dribble handoff. And Willie Green is a coach that could be gone after this year in New Orleans. He's kind of on the hot seat, one of the favorites according to BetUS to get fired. So I don't know. It's not a team that runs the floor crazy well, or at least just their personnel doesn't seem like they run the floor super well. And that's part of the issue I have with playing the same team twice in the first 3 games is, how good of a gauge do you get after 3 games? You played Golden State and they eviscerated you, and then you play this New Orleans team. This New Orleans team doesn't look too good, but still got to give the Blazers credit. They defended today. They played harder today. The stuff on the offensive glass is phenomenal. New Orleans lacks a center. They're playing Daniel Tice and Yves Missy. Yves Missy is a rookie, very young, and wasn't thought to be one and done when he went to Baylor last year. So not sure it's the best center test for our guys. Like we should. Clingan, Ayton should be able to really out-rebound these centers, and they did tonight. Ayton 6 boards, Clingan 6 boards, Avdia had 3 boards. They were relentless on the glass, and New Orleans doesn't really have the size to deal with the Blazers' size, which is kind of weird to be saying that about another team in regards to
right.
us, because we're used to it the other way around. So the Blazers' talking point this year is look how much length they have. Look how many wings they have. Avdia, Grant, Kamara lineups. Kamara's at the 2. And then the Blazers are playing like Chris Murray at the 2, I guess, because I think he's more of a 2 than Jabari Walker is, even though neither of them are shooting guards, right? So you're playing with all this length. You should be able to at least out-rebound teams. You give up in other areas, and one of those is shooting. Chris had his shooting struggles last year. Jabari Walker had his shooting struggles last year. But 40% tonight, and then you destroy them on the boards. That's the recipe for winning basketball games.
Yeah, absolutely. If the Blazers started watching the Niners,
don't get excited about this next play.
Okay. Yeah. The Blazers, if they can obviously shoot, even mid to upper 30% for 3-pointers, they're going to have a really good season, I think. That's probably a little too wishful thinking because they just made a lot in this one. But, they've been getting pretty good looks. Anthony and Scoot have been doing a good job of just getting right into the top of the key and kicking out to Jerami in particular. And Timani's shot looks just really smooth off the catch. Chauncey was mic'd up for this one, and they showed a timeout where Chauncey was telling him, "Why didn't you shoot that? Like that's what we've been working on. Like kick out to you, you're open, you shoot it." And he proceeded to hit one a couple possessions later. So good to see his form looking decent, and hopefully his confidence grows as he continues to shoot that ball. And Denny's the only one that his shooting is terrible right now. Hopefully, he saw the ball go through at least on some lay-ins at the end of the game or at the end of his playing in this game. Hopefully that gets him on track, because that's really the only big bummer about the way the starting lineup has played so far this season in my mind, is that Denny just hasn't found his groove offensively, at least. I do think he's doing a good job elsewhere, but I think this team as a whole, the starting lineup is decent, and then you got Scoot. Scoot's like, could he be in the running for sixth man if he keeps this up?
Yeah. Scoot didn't shoot the ball well tonight, but, I mean, if this is a bad game for Scoot, I think it looks a lot better than his bad games last year. We'll talk about that. As far as Denny goes, I mean, there's three different things in regards to, like, taking and making shots. One, of course, is shot selection. One is, are you capable of making the shots that you're taking with that shot selection? And then the third one is, are you actually making them? Are they actually going in, right? I feel like Denny's shot selection is completely fine. He had a lot of really impressive, like, off-balance, off-footed finishes last year with Washington and shot a good percentage from two around the rim. He's not making those shots right now. He's getting downhill. He's getting to the rim. He's getting clean looks 5 feet and in, and he's not converting them, but he is capable of making them, right? We just haven't seen it yet. I don't really have an issue with this shot selection, and when guys are taking shots, they're capable of making, and they're solid shots. You know, you would love to see them go in. Of course, it's a bummer when they don't, but you can live with tough shooting nights when guys are taking quality shots. And I think a lot of Avdia's drives, they may look like he's a little off balance, a little out of control, but that's kind of how he thrived last year when he broke out for Washington. The three-point shot, we have to worry about, okay, is he actually capable of shooting a high percentage? He shot 37% last year, but he was below 30% the 3 years before that. So was last year an aberration? He has not shot the three ball well this year. I'm a little bit more worried about that. But ultimately, he does little things. He does other things, which is why you can kind of live with, okay, he's missing some shots that he's capable of making. He's taking okay shots. He's providing value in other areas. So, it is definitely a bummer because I'd love to see him score the ball well on top of that, but I think it will come.
Yeah, hopefully. The positive thing is I don't think we have many players right now that can't contribute elsewhere if they're not hitting shots. So, maybe a couple guys off the bench, like Chris and Jabari in particular, but I mean, they're doing a pretty good job on defense as well. It's like any of these guys, even if they're missing shots, I still feel like everyone is contributing. And that includes Ant and Scoot on the defensive end tonight. I thought both of them really competed hard on the defensive end and had one of their better games in terms of just all around being engaged in the entire game and not taking plays off on defense.
Yeah. In the past, the Blazers had too many guys that did not contribute when their shots weren't falling. So I'm not going to complain 3 games in now the Blazers have one of those guys because the shots aren't falling. He's doing the other things. He's played good defense. He's been solid on the boards. He's made some nice passes. He had 6 assists last game, right? So I can live with the missed shots, and that I like having players that provide value in other areas. Gone are the days of Norman Powell and Carmelo Anthony next to C.J. McCollum, right? Where it's like, if those guys aren't making shots, if those guys are missing a bunch of shots, like, are they helping you actually win or are they helping you lose? And with Avdia, I don't feel that way, man. Like, even with his poor shooting, I don't feel like he's hurt the team, so to say. So hopefully he'll start to pick it up. Today 4 for 12, 1 for 5 from 3, but 6 boards, 3 assists, only 1 turnover, solid defense. He was a plus 21, right? It's like you look at the Blazers, right? Anthony Simons plus 25. Okay, that's the team lead. The 2 other guys that were a plus 20, Scoot and Avdia.
Yeah.
And some of that is like, okay, those are two guys that will set up Anthony Simons, will swing the ball to Anthony Simons, can actually drive the lane, collapse the defense a little bit, that sort of stuff, you know. So can't just look at plus minus, of course, right? It can be very, very noisy in a single game sample size, but I do think, you know, playing next to guys like Avdia, playing next to guys like Scoot will be good for Anthony Simons because last year he had the ball constantly in his hands. Defenses loaded up on him. He had to take a bunch of tough shots. Those two guys are actually guys that are able to generate him easier shots, and he's able to find a rhythm like that. And tonight, of course, Ant was great. 5 for 10 from 3, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 8 for 17 from the field. His first good offensive game, 27 points, 6 assists, only 2 turnovers. So, you know, I think it all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I do think, like, if we're talking about this team, like, being in the mix for a play-in or being good eventually, you do have to find a way, I think, to get Denny involved and to score a little easier. I mean, he obviously can't be having nights shooting like this if we want to compete eventually. I don't know. I felt like this is the problem, and it was always going to be the problem on a team with Anthony and Scoot and Grant to some extent. It's Denny took off last year when he became the primary ball handler, and now it's, can you include him enough in that role with all those other guys to bring out what's best for him, or is he going to kind of resort to being a spot-up shooter at times, which feels like it's not the best role for him? So it's just something to keep in mind on how they can maybe integrate him into the offense a little more, maybe run some sets where he's more of a playmaker and taking some pressure off the ball handlers. Just something like that. They're going to have to figure out a way to use him better if he's not succeeding shooting the ball off ball like this.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about Scoot a little bit, right? Scoot today. 2 for 12 from the field, 7 assists, 4 turnovers, 4 fouls, plus 20 though. And I caught myself like kind of thinking about this game, right? And he's missing some shots, but he shot 12 times in 30 minutes. That's better than like some games he had last year where he'd be like 5 for 19 in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It feels like he's trying to be a little bit more measured. And the shots he took today, I didn't really have an issue with them. Like, I think the Blazers' shot selection today overall was pretty good, and I think that's part of the reason why they scored 125 points, right? Even on good offensive nights, you're normally going to have 1 or 2 guys that struggle to shoot the ball. In this game, it was Scoot Henderson, but still played a decent floor game, set guys up well, and he just looks better, man. Like, eye test to me, even in a game like this, you know, people will come in and look at the stat line and be like, oh, he turned it over 4 times, it was 2 for 12. But he visually looks better to me. He looks sharper. His handle looks better. He looks quicker. His stop and go is better, right? He's starting to pick his spots better too. And that's what has me hopeful. You know, he's really good the first 2 games and now has a bad game. But it's like, I can stomach that considering he's coming off 2 games and considering he just looks better even in a game like this.
Yeah, I think much like Denny, though, we're going to have to keep an eye on that 3-point percentage. If it's still really far down there, you have to kind of wonder if he just had a hot shooting stretch and it kind of altered his percentages last year, or hopefully that's not the case. But that's my only concern with him right now is eventually he's going to have to knock down his jumper a little bit more consistently to blow by people. But
yeah.
Other than that, I really like the way he's playing.
I think it's different too. Like, it was his rookie year, right? It was his rookie
Yeah.
year where he shot 33 point whatever. Daddy, it was like 4th year. The first 3 years he was below 30. So the 4th year, it makes me a little bit more concerned that the 4th year is the aberration when you look at his NBA career. Where Scoot, it's like, okay, he just got started. He shot 33%, right? Like, is that going to improve or not? And he's taken a couple like deep ones, and one of them he missed bad last game. He doesn't have that sort of range. Other than that one that he missed really bad, that 30-footer he shot, like his misses are all close, Where last year, the first 5 games or so, how many did he like brick off the backboard? How many did he airball? How many, like his misses were all over the place and abysmal. So I'm not worried about his shooting yet. Shots haven't really gone in for him from 3, but his form does look better. He does seem to be shooting the ball more confidently. When he misses, it's not as bad. Like, I think ultimately that'll kind of correct itself in the end, and he'll at least be where he was last year. But of course, we'll have to wait and see.
I didn't watch, every shot of Denny's the last couple of years. Obviously, they don't watch Wizards games that closely. But as for Scoot, when you are, one of the top 6 rotation players on a team, you are going to get scouted more as you play more. And last year, it was a case where, quite frankly, he was wide open on almost every 3-point attempt he shot. So he was basically shooting practice 3-point shots. And if he's guarded at all, that's a case where he's going to have to find a way to improve that and shoot well, or shoot at least the same percentage while being guarded a little closer. But yeah, it is encouraging that he's not having such ugly-looking shots or ugly-looking bricks, but you still got to have it go in at some point.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yeah. 3-game sample, he could shoot, 3 for 5 next game, and his percentage would probably look fine. That's the beauty of a small sample size. So I like the way, I don't know, man, I like how sharp he's playing. Like his movements, his dribbling, some of his passes. He looks like he's moving better with his dribble, that sort of stuff. He's not off balance as much. Like just little movement pattern things I think have been very encouraging so far this year. And I would love for him to be playing with a little bit more spacing because he's out there playing with a lineup of like Chris Murray, Jabari Walker, and like Clingan's on the floor. You don't have much spacing. I think ultimately, he'll continue to grow, but as this roster develops and the Blazers bring in new guys in the future, like I think you put more floor spacing around him and maybe going into year 3, that's when he could really, really take off because he's able to turn the corner pretty consistently, and that's a really good sign. Even with defenders not really respecting his 3-point shot all that much, he's still able to turn the corner, still able to get downhill. So if you see that improve a little bit and you see the spacing improve a little bit, I mean, those are 2 small things that can have a drastic difference. And I would love for the Blazers, at this deadline, we talk about like, getting rid of the vets. But you see these lineups where he's playing with Jabari and Chris at the 2 and 3. Like, you got to go out and one of those guys needs to be like a legit shooter for Scoot's development, in my opinion. Chris and Jabari are a little bit redundant. And if you're playing them at the 2 and the 3, like you need one of those guys to be a shooter, and neither of those guys are really shooters. Like Chris has shot well in preseason. Maybe he can become one, but he's not, known for that, and he's not going to be a high volume guy, right? In 15 minutes a day, 1 for 2, okay. I would love for them to go get a 2, maybe with size to play the 3. That can really light it up in the defense's respect, because that's ultimately what spacing is are you a good enough shooter where defenders won't leave you? And you can't say that about Jabari or Chris right now. So
yeah, absolutely. And Scoot did have I almost don't want him to shoot any mid-range right now. I love when he drives in and lobs it up to the big man. He had another nice lob to Ayton tonight. And I'm loving those plays right now. Either that or kickouts I'm much more a fan of than him shooting. So I'd almost rather him just take it in every time.
I mean, here's the thing. You look at a guy like Chris Paul. He shot a lot of mid-range, right? He was a good enough mid-range shooter to shoot him, but also he took them when there was space and when it was there, right? And I think there's a difference between forcing mid-range shots and taking them when they're there. And I think last year he forced a couple too many. I think this year seems like he's trying to get to the rim a little bit more, and if not, trying to make a play for someone else instead of just settling for some of this mid-range stuff. The problem is when you're dealing with a packed defense, though, and there's a lot of traffic around the rim. What do you really have? Especially if you don't have shooters on the floor with you. Sometimes that might be the best shot. So it was a nice move he had for that mid-range bucket. The little snatch back between the legs into that was a pretty nice move. And I don't think he's shooting necessarily too many of them right now. So yeah, I'm fine with the mid-range shots he's shooting right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tamani. I mean, he's just quietly very good, right? I feel like we don't talk about him enough. 5 for 8, 2 for 3 from 3. His shot looks legit. His form looks smooth. He shot the ball well in preseason and to start this regular season. Also, 4 assists, no turnovers. Had a really nice backdoor pass to Denny Avdia. And you're seeing a 3-and-D guy with some playmaking, and that's an asset, man. That's a phenomenal asset. So, he's a young guy, second-year guy, but it almost feels like he's a veteran in terms of like, oh, yeah, we expect Tamani to be solid, right? We expect him to be solid. We weren't expecting him to necessarily become like a good three-point shooter. And so far, small sample size, but he's been a good three-point shooter so far this season. We didn't expect him to be much of a passer, 4 assists. Like, he's had some impressive passing and playmaking flashes, and we saw it to end the season last year, and we didn't really know whether to put stock into it because it could have just been, okay, he's playing on a tanking team. He's just given more of an offensive role on a tanking team than he would be on a legitimate team, but you just see like the way he plays in the flow and the way he can make passes is really impressive. And then, of course, what he does defensively. So I've been very, very pleased with the way he's played. I think he earned that starting job, and Scoots played good off the bench. So I think that's all worked out so far with the Blazers starting him. What are your thoughts on Kamara this game and just so far this season?
Yeah, Kamara's been fantastic. Shooting the ball well. I love the 4 assists tonight. He was passing the ball well also, and his defense, outside of a couple times he gets a little over aggressive and fouls. Other than that, he's been tremendous on both sides of the ball, and it's good to see, man.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see here. Ayton effort was better than it was a couple nights ago. 7 for 9 from the field, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line. 12 rebounds, got a block, 17 points, plus 15. He was better tonight. This is the type of game he should have against a team starting Daniel Tice at center.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, he got off to a bit of a rough start and had that really nice dump-off pass to him, and I don't know what he did there, and then he took a really bad, long 2-point shot. His shot hadn't looked good from the mid-range so far this season. So it was good to see him actually. What changed, I think, was he got a little closer to the basket and was there for some offensive rebound putbacks, and that always helps your percentage out. Clingan did the same thing, which we'll talk about later. And then, yeah, nice to see him also hit his 1 3-point attempt, take it with confidence, knock it down. This 3-point shot looks nice. So I want to see him shoot threes and be around the basket more. I know he can hit the mid-range, but I kind of want to see him play more towards the basket and be around the rim for lobs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he has shown that he'll make that baseline cut, though. It's the thing is, as he becomes a better shooter, though, it's like, okay, do you want an open corner three or a cut, maybe for a dunk? I mean, those 2 good options, right? And that's what's nice. In the past, it was, the Blazers had Maurice Harkless, and he was a much better finisher around the rim than a 3-point shooter, so he cut a lot from that corner. If you got a good shooter there, maybe an Anthony Simons, though, then it makes sense for him to spot up, maybe not make that cut unless it's like 100% there. Tamani, I think, is going to be a guy that both options are good, which is really nice to have. And I've been just overall very, very pleased with him so far. But, Eric, we have to talk about the Blazers' player of the game, which is Jerami Grant. He was that stat line did not update. He was phenomenal tonight. Do you want to read off Jerami Grant's stat line for us?
Sure.
No, that
He
stat line is
had
updated. Yeah, 28 points. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. 28 points, 5 boards, which is a good amount for him in 29 minutes, 4 blocks, had a couple of assists, a couple of steals, 9 for 17 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. He got it done inside the arc in this game. Also 8 for 12 from the free throw line. Second straight game against the Pelicans where he's looked good. Listen, New Orleans, if you want a Brandon Ingram replacement with his contract stuff and maybe they trade him this year, Jerami Grant would be a pretty good Brandon Ingram replacement. You saw him the past 2 nights, and he absolutely torched you. So hopefully he's playing up that trade value because he looked like a dude today, man. I've been watching the Lakers to start this year. He would be phenomenal playing off of LeBron, playing off of AD there. So, Jerami Grant, not in the Blazers' long-term plans, but every game like this, you just hope, like, okay, man, maybe a contending team sees this, and it's like, we have to have that on our team, and we're willing to pay for it. But ultimately, just phenomenal game from him. Also, effort on defense was pretty good. I roasted him game 1 for that. It's been better since. So really happy with how he played. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if this is the Jerami Grant that we're going to get this season, I'm much more comfortable just being patient and holding on to acquire as much value as possible when he's eventually traded. I love the fact that he's limiting how many times he's just dribbling the ball way too much and taking a bad shot or taking it 1-on-3 since the first game. But yeah, just much smoother when he's more of a catch and shoot player and then attacks only when he has to at the end of shot clocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, he has some impressive finishes too, man. I mean, listen, like he's somebody that thrived in this game due to the lack of rim protection with New Orleans, and that's something New Orleans is going to have to ultimately address. I know some people want to pitch them DeAndre Ayton. I don't think DeAndre Ayton really helps with that, but their rim protection is just pretty much non-existent. That's going to be what holds them back if they don't make the playoffs. But the thing is like, okay, you face a team like that, you got to attack it, right? You got to attack it, and the Blazers did a good job of doing that, and Jerami Grant was one of those key guys. 3-point shot didn't fall for him tonight after it fell like crazy a couple of nights ago. He had that shot that went off the top of the backboard. Today it was just a lot more inside the arc. He was, 7 for 10 inside the arc, so efficient night there from him.
Yep. Hopefully we see this for a while because, I know people want to, or some people want to keep him, especially if he plays like this. But I think you do have to think long term about some of these contracts we have on our team and just kind of the long term approach to it. And I don't think sacrificing the long term angles is necessarily what's best. Just to keep a somewhat okay to good team this year. I do think you have to worry about the future still, but it's really nice to see him playing within the team concepts a little more than he had last year.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we're going to have a ton of trade talk this year about potential packages and whatnot. Normally, we don't start that until we're 20 games into the season, so we're not going to necessarily get into any details with all that. We're just analyzing how they're playing, but obviously with a guy like Grant, it's like, man, if he's scoring the ball like this, like he has the past couple of nights, his numbers are going to look pretty nice at the deadline, and it becomes easy to pitch him to a team that could use his services for a playoff run. I know there's some optimistic people out there that think the Blazers can make a run to the play-in. I think it's tough with the depth in the West. Like, you got so many good teams in the West, and I don't think the Blazers are there. But you got some runway until you're going to trade Jerami Grant. You got some runway just to see how good this team is. You got a tough early season schedule, right? So you're going to be able to find some things out, and you're going to be able to see, like, okay, if Jerami Grant's scoring the ball, if Anthony Simons is scoring the ball, how good is this offense? Because the defense last year, and I think so far this year too, is ahead of where the offense is, especially in the half court. So, how much does Denny Avdia help your offense? Are you actually able to ratchet up the pace and be more efficient as an offense by getting out and running? Scoot Henderson's improvement. The Blazers will get Shane Sharp back, right? Like, there is some uncertainty of how good or bad this team is. And, I'm curious to find out exactly where they're at 20 games in, once they get guys back, after some more development of guys like Scoot and that sort of thing. So, Grant will be around for that, and we'll see what that looks like. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it does make sense to trade him at the deadline. But maybe in the most optimistic scenario, it's for the people that think we can actually be a play-in team. Maybe this team is actually in the thick of it. I think it takes some serious hope and optimism to see them there. But, we've seen teams take the league by surprise, and there seems to be one or two every year. One of these years, maybe it'll be the Blazers, So we'll just have to wait and see, because the way they played tonight, they looked like a pretty solid team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like you said, though, it's hard to tell because Pelicans look bad too. So
but maybe that's one of the teams they can be better than. They don't got DeJounte Murray for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Williamson always has his issues. They don't have a center, right? Like, they got some issues, man. And that's what it would take for the Blazers to make a play. And it would take teams having issues. It would take teams having injury issues like the Memphis Grizzlies did last year. It'd take a team like New Orleans where all their flaws really rear their head and hold them back. It's a team that has been kind of strange the past few years because they'll go on stretches where they play really, really good basketball, but they're never consistent with it, and they never have guys consistently available, especially Zion. Zion's kind of the face of that for them. So it'd be interesting to watch them as we go. But this is where it's like the Blazers coming up have some pretty interesting matchups against some good teams, and that's really where you're going to get your true test.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that starts with two winnable games on the road. And it's never easy to win on the road, but next two against the Kings and Clippers, it'll be nice to see them get out away from Moda Center, see if they can do some damage in an opposing team's arena.
Yeah, of course, in this Kings team, the Blazers absolutely destroyed them in the preseason. And the Kings have started 0-2 this season. So either the Blazers will move to 500 or the Kings will get their first win of the season. Right? The Kings started 0-2. I did not have much faith in the Kings this season. I don't know. I don't think DeRozan really helps them a whole lot. I think that defensively they still have major question marks. They got a couple nice players off the bench, but I don't know. It's a team that just feels like a play-in team to me. So for all you hopefuls out there that think the Blazers can make a play-in, this is the type of game that the Blazers need to win. This is the type of team that Portland should be competitive against then. So we'll have to wait and see. It feels like coming off a win early in the season, since we've been tanking, like the game after we'll go against a team like this on the road and lose by like 35.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, it's we're gonna really have to watch how high and low we get with this team off like one game, good or bad.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's expectations for me are never going to be, they're a playoff team, right? Like, obviously, if they're sitting here at 30 and 24, we're going to have some different conversations. But, post-game show, we got 82 a year. Take it one game at a time. Nice win tonight. Let's see how they look tomorrow, second night of a back-to-back. The good news is they didn't have to play Jerami Grant 40 minutes to win this game. They didn't have to play Anthony Simons 40 minutes to win this game. They were able to actually keep their minutes a little bit lower, so they should be a little bit more fresher tomorrow night. Also, you got a young team, young legs. I do not want any back-to-back excuse tomorrow night. It's the first one of the season. These guys should be ready to go, ready to come out and actually compete against this Kings team.
Yeah. That's another good reason why it was nice to not have to play starters through the whole fourth quarter tonight. I think how many minutes did Anthony play? 33. Kamara played 34. Other than that, everyone else was 31 or under. So, nice to not have to use everyone up minutes-wise tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Any other players you really want to get in depth in? This is going to be a little bit of a shorter post-game show with us. Streaming tomorrow night, twice tomorrow actually, we'll have Blazers Uprise live, so hopefully you can join us around 3:30. And then, of course, we'll have the post-game stream.
Man, Clingan makes me want him in the game more.
Yeah.
Only 13 minutes tonight, but yeah.
He's impactful, man. He's impactful. People said he wasn't – there was people out there that said he was not ready, but it's like he has one of the most NBA-ready skills, which is size and rim protection. Like, that translates pretty well. And we've seen it translate. 2 blocks in 13 minutes tonight. He had 4 blocks in, 14 minutes tonight. It just makes me wonder, man, if he was capable of playing 32 minutes a game, how many blocks per game would he be averaging? I think you're seeing a guy that I'm growing more and more confident in being in conversations for Defensive Player of the Year, Eric. He had a possession, I forget if it was game 1 or game 2, where he switched out and did a decent job defending on the perimeter. He still has a lot of growth, obviously, with him being a rookie, but he's already a positive NBA defender. And it's hard to say without him playing more minutes, because it's different doing something like this in 13, 14 minutes compared to 30 minutes a night, but he already looks like one of the more impactful rim protectors in the league. He gets in and the complexion of the defense changes. He deters guys, he blocks shots, and he controls the boards as well. 13 minutes, 9 boards, and 6 of them offensively. He's been fantastic there. So Zion tried him a couple times, got a foul a couple of times, and that's something where Clingan has to learn how NBA guys try and attack him and draw fouls and how the game is called in the NBA. That'll be a learning curve for him. But outside of a couple of those fouls, guys aren't really getting shots, clean, good shots at the rim when he's in the game. And then 4 for 6 from the field. We had some concerns with his finishing, but he's finished well enough, man. He's finished well enough, so love what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah, and he has gotten foul baited a couple times this year so far, but he's the kind of guy who I think will learn every time that happens, and it's never going to be perfect. When you're a rim protector, you're going to get fouls sometimes just going for blocks, but I do feel like he's the type of guy who will adjust and learn very quickly, so I'm excited to see how he doesn't fall for some of these crafty veteran moves as we move into the season. See if he can improve on that, because we see a lot of bigs that do struggle with that throughout their rookie or first couple of years. So if he can learn not to do that quickly, we've already seen a couple times where his verticality was good, especially on Zion when he comes in there dropping his shoulder with a full head of steam. So if he can learn to do that quickly, the sky's the limit for him in terms of being a top of the league rim protector type. Yeah,
absolutely, man, absolutely. That's pretty much everybody impactful that we've talked about for the Blazers. Jabari hit a 3, nice to see. I don't remember if it was in garbage time or not, but he had a rough game a couple nights ago, so good to see him get a couple of buckets. Still 2 for 7 though. Eric, I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to move on from Jabari. He rebounds the ball and he's a hard-nosed guy. And he's a guy that you can have on a roster, just not really in your rotation. And it's tough for me to see that changing. So I don't want this to sound too negative in terms of being ready to move on. Just, he's somebody that if he was on a different team next year, nobody would bat an eye, and you bring in somebody else like him, and he's replaceable in that regard, right? So I would love for him to shoot the 3 ball like he did in college. Maybe he still has some growth left there. It's just, I don't know. He looked like such a better shooter in college than he has in the NBA. And I don't know. Part of why I'm saying this is I see him out there in these lineups with Chris Murray and Donovan Clingan and Jerami Grant or Denny Avdia, and it's man, I just wish you had a shooter there instead. I don't even care if the shooter doesn't do much else. I just wish you had a shooter there instead.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, his rebounding is a positive, but he just seems I don't know, all his athleticism got zapped somehow. He just does not have any kind of burst around the rim, and he's got some good pump fakes and things like that, but when the defender doesn't fall for it, he just gets put in a lot of tough positions. Hopefully, if he can make a 3-point shot, it would definitely help because he does contribute elsewhere on defense and in that rebounding, which we do need. But yeah, it's tough, and I still feel like we're playing him and Chris a little too much together at times. That might come back to haunt us as the season goes on. I think Chauncey needs to. It's okay to start the 3 forwards, 2 through 4, but I think you have to do a much better job of mixing those 3 up throughout the game, so we're not stuck with too many situations where they're both on the floor.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. When Sharp is back,
Mm-hmm.
he'll be in those lineups instead of Chris at the 2 or Jabari at the 2, right? Like
maybe even Thibault too.
Yeah, like you'll have Sharp back, and that'll help with some of the shooting stuff. Because I don't know, man. Like if the Blazers are as competitive as they've been the past 2 nights with this starting lineup, when Sharp comes back, maybe he's on a minutes restriction or whatnot, but like when Sharp comes back, do you think they'll start him? I don't. I think they'll keep rolling with this lineup, and what they'll do is they'll give Scoot and Sharp a lot of minutes together, and they may, because they're finding Scoot enough minutes off the bench right now. He played 30 minutes tonight, right? Like they're getting him enough minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp will take like Jabari's or Chris's minutes, maybe both of those guys, and then maybe he'll eat a little bit into like Avdia if he keeps struggling to shoot, and they'll find a way to get his minutes up in the upper 20s at least, starting off the bench.
Yeah.
So it's big starting lineup and then small and quick and athletic off the bench.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Scoot's probably fine right now handling it, but I do wonder sometimes watching the games because he's the first sub in, and it's usually around like 6 minutes or so in the first quarter, and then he usually doesn't come out until after 6 minutes in the second quarter, like 4 or 5 minutes left in the second quarter. So he's playing over a full quarter of time. I do wonder with someone who is that quick if it's maybe better to play him in a little shorter stints and let him use his burst and not waste out his energy. It hasn't been a problem so far this year with Scoot, but I do think maybe as the season goes on, players start to get tired. He maybe hits his sophomore season wall or whatever. Maybe playing him, like take him out a couple minutes into the second quarter and then bring him back for the last few minutes of that quarter. Still get him his minutes, but just get him a little bit more rest in between playing like 13 or 14 straight minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's a lot of minutes in a row, man, even for a young guy. So, especially one that plays as fast as he is, you don't want him to be fatigued. And even if you're in great shape, playing 15 minutes in a row is a lot in the NBA. So, how do you figure that out? Maybe something in a minute earlier in the first and third quarters and give him like a 2-minute break, and then I don't know. Like I would love to just see them figure out a way so that he's not playing that many minutes in a row. And it'll be interesting to see how they figure it out with Sharp. But that's the thing, is you're going to see a cut in minutes to Jabari. You're going to see a cut in minutes to Chris Murray, potentially as well. I think Chris is a little bit better than Jabari right now, just because I think he's a little bit better of a shooter right now. Neither of those guys really have any value to this team moving forward, in my opinion. And if you could get like a true shooter in one of those spots with the rest of the players the Blazers have on the team, it would be better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's the one thing. If we're going to be talking about, okay, what can the Blazers add at the deadline, right? It won't necessarily be like, what can they add to win this year? Because that's not the conversation. The conversation is developing players. I think that is a conversation. What can they add to help develop these young guys better? And like pretty much the only thing that I could point out would be more shooting for more floor spacing. So especially if you lose Grant, you're gonna need shooting down the stretch. Just so you get these guys good quality revs and like give Scoot an opportunity to take off. Because I think it's different. If he has a little bit more space that he can attack, I think you could see some serious growth out of him the second half of the year. But if he's just dealing with a packed paint and every time he kicks out to someone, they're breaking a three, is he going to develop as well? Like, is that something where he can build throughout the season, where he can develop throughout the season? I don't think so. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking of. And listen, it's a little too early to have that conversation, right? So I'm not trying to have that conversation right now, because Chris might be a 37-38% shooter and might actually make defenses respect him by the trade deadline this year, and he can be that shooter, right? It's too early to say yes or no on that. You know, he was awful shooting the 3-ball last year, but it was only his rookie year, right? So maybe he takes a jump. But they either need that guy to be on their roster right now and to turn into that, and Chris maybe is the top candidate for playing that role at a forward spot, and if it's not him, then it probably has to come from somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that could be alleviated if Sharp comes back and shoots the 3 well, but hopefully that's the case. But I do agree that a floor spacing for, and maybe it's just as simple as Donovan and Ayton also improve to where they're shooting a couple threes a game and spacing the floor and become legit players that teams have to game plan for out there. But other than that, yeah, I do think at some point you do have to make sure you add a shooter.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to take some time and answer your guys' questions because we haven't talked enough with chat in the first couple of post-game shows. But first, I'd like to give a shout-out to our sponsor of the stream, BetUS. And if you want in on the action, and there's a lot of sports action going on right now, you can use promo code YouTube150 for a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonuses on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000, and you can get in on the World Series with baseball. You can get in on the NFL. We got Sunday Night Football going on right now, almost halfway through the season. You can get in with the NBA being here now. You can get in with college basketball. That'll start very, very soon. It usually starts for most teams first week of November, and we got a terrific draft class coming up that you can watch, pay attention to throughout the season, place a little bit of money on, a college basketball game, have some fun with that. I mean, you got NASCAR playoffs going on right now. You literally got any sport you could want available on BetUS, a ton of action going on right now, and you can get in on that action with that promo code YouTube150. Shout out to them for sponsoring the stream, and yeah, we'll be live again tomorrow night. Looking forward to that.
We'll also have a stream in the afternoon, right?
Yep, picks against the spread stream, picking BetUS spreads tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully I will have a better internet situation. I got to do some things tomorrow to try and fix the internet. We're still building out our graphics package right now, so this is definitely not the final graphics package. But I do want to take a look at the team stats from this game. I will have a background with this graphic, okay? It's just not set up yet. But this is our team stats graphic for this year. You can lean to your left, Eric. We got New Orleans, just abysmal shooting night from 3, 27%. Yeah, there you go. Stage left for Eric Grant. Blazers get to the line a lot, 32 times. The rebounding battle, look at that, 51 rebounds to 39 for the Pelicans, 22 offensive rebounds for the Blazers, and it's not like they shot poorly and we're just collecting a bunch of misses. They shot 46% from the field, 40% from 3. You love to see that. And there are the rest of the stats. The biggest lead for the Pelicans was 8. They got off to a quick start in this one. The biggest lead for the Blazers was 24. They dominated. Won the paint battle. Fast break. They didn't really get out and run a whole lot on the 17 turnovers from New Orleans, but still, they won that battle, 17-13. Eric, any thoughts on any of these numbers?
I'm going to look up what New Orleans did last year in terms of fast break points to see what kind of measuring stick that is.
Yeah.
Because the Blazers did a really good job in this game. There was one in the second half that I remember, but other than that, they did a great job of not letting them push the tempo too much. And New Orleans was 9th in fast break points last year, so they're pretty good. So maybe it is a good measuring stick.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Doesn't seem like they are, but
they didn't really seem like they were trying to push the pace. And CJ has always been pretty half court oriented, right? Like Ingram always seems half court oriented, but this year it's like you don't have much size. Yves Missy's pretty athletic. He can run the floor. They're playing him as their backup 5. So it'll be interesting to see if they are a fast break team at the end of the year, because they don't seem like one. And that's why I was talking about them. Like, they don't seem like a fast break team at the start of the stream, but I was sitting there thinking, like, maybe they were a good fast break team last year. But that's proof that you don't necessarily have to have perfect personnel to push the pace, right? It's more of a choice. It's more of a decision. It's looking for that outlet pass and then passing the ball up the floor. You know, it's getting out and running the floor hard as much as anything. So no excuse for the Blazers to be 21st or whatever they were last year in terms of fast break, and the Pelicans.
Not with the athleticism they have, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Blazers have better personnel to run the floor than the Pelicans, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anyway, those are the team stats. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff coming around the corner, social media stuff. Tonight will be our first event night for postgame shows. We'll have a giveaway night. Make sure you pay attention to our social media platforms tomorrow for a chance to spin our giveaway wheel. We got 14 slots. One of the things we'll be giving away is a signed Anthony Simons jersey. So you definitely want to make sure to follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and also join our Discord, because we need players, or we need people to spin our giveaway wheel, and we're going to be doing some selections on our social media channels, right? So one person who retweeted a tweet from Friday night is going to get a chance to spin. That sort of thing is how we're doing these giveaways. And then whoever's been active in our Discord as well. So make sure you join our Discord, participate in there. It's pretty fun on a game day. And yeah, I got a little distracted during that because I saw the Commanders Hail Mary, and I saw a Chicago Bears player in the end zone, like hyping up the crowd while the play was going on. That's embarrassing.
And is he the guy? And he's the guy that tipped it. Oh my god!
Was he the guy that tipped it too?
Yeah. So he realizes he better run in there. He runs in there, and he's the guy who hits it back to.
Yikes! You gotta hit it down, man. You gotta hit it down. Yeah, that was crazy. Football was crazy today. You had some crazy games. But yeah, man, join our socials. We'll take some questions for the rest of the stream, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I guess one more thing about the team stats. Blazers get to the line 32 times. If they can do that consistently, get to the line, I think good results will come of that too. I think they're doing a really good job of attacking that paint area. And, they don't always get calls. Scoot a couple of his turnovers are questionable, whether it should have been a foul or not. But overall, I think if you continue to attack that paint, you'll start to get those calls. And I think it's a good sign that a young team is getting to the line that many times as they have the first two games.
They don't get that Zion whistle.
No.
Zion gets a crazy whistle. That was wild today. There's a play where Scoot got his arm yanked, lost the ball, and then Zion comes down, creates all the contact, and gets the call. I mean, that's the NBA for you. I enjoyed watching the Olympics because of the way it was refereed as much as anything. Because it was refereed how the NBA should be refereed, but I don't know. I don't know when the NBA will learn.
Man, Zion's only move these last two games seemed to be just lower his shoulder and try to bowl right through the defender.
Or
didn't really have much
into a hook.
Yeah.
Link to Blazers Uprise Instagram should be in the description. The links for everything should be in the description. Oh, it's not. It's not. Oh. I don't know why it's not. Okay, let me fix that. I'll put everything in the description. My apologies.
Jeez, amateur hour over here.
I've been sitting here plugging our socials, and it's not even in the description. We're just out of source to start this season, and that's, I literally moved. I mean, I literally moved. Work is a lot, right? And then I moved on the 19th, so just sorting out stuff. Still don't have a dining table yet. If you see the space behind me, we got nothing back there right now. So still kind of sorting stuff out, and it's just it's been wild. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of exhausted. So let me grab that stuff, and we'll put it in the description.
Drew says Serbia versus USA was horribly officiated. He's a bit biased on that one.
See, if you're gonna say any Olympics game is horribly officiated, it's going to be because they let too much go, which sometimes I'd rather have that than calling too much ticky-tack stuff. Anyway, description should be updated now. So you can... I'll also post them in the live chat. So there's the links to all our stuff. The live chat messed up the format, but we'll have our giveaway night tomorrow. That'll be fun. And yeah, we're gonna do a lot of social media content this year. We got a team behind us, just behind, and you know, having Krish help build some stuff, and I've been trying to get on him to help me out because I need it. So. Anyway, if you guys got no questions, we'll head out of here. One Piece says y'all should answer my Shaden Sharp question. What was your Shaden Sharp question? Because I don't see your Shaden Sharp question. Dro, are you just realizing that refs aren't perfect? Like, two missed calls does not mean it's not refereed better overseas than it is the NBA. NBA refs miss calls all the time, but they call a bunch of crap. Like, the rule of the law is better overseas in terms of the way they officiate things.
Yeah.
We should be 2-1. Absolutely. Expectations for Sharp. Lower than, like, I wouldn't say I have low expectations for Sharp. I feel like some people have too high of expectations for Sharp. I don't expect him to, like, come in and look like a star. I expect him to come in and average 20 a game on efficiency. He was pretty inefficient last year. I just hope he can shoot a decent 3-ball and then be a little bit more efficient as a finisher, especially in the half court, because he was not as efficient as he should be given his athleticism and size. So if he can improve upon those two things, then he'll improve over last year. And last year he was very streaky with his play, so I would like to just see him improve his consistency upon that. I don't really know what to expect, though, so I'm more so answering this in terms of what I would like to see. He could come back and be good, but he was recovering from that core surgery a lot this summer and then dealing with this. I don't really expect him to take a huge step this season. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I would say I'm going to be patient with him, give him some ramp-up time because, like you just mentioned, between the core surgery last year and the shoulder stuff this past few months, he's obviously not had time to be working on his game as much as he probably would have liked to. But I think as the season goes on, I do expect him to. I mean, it's probably not going to be as extreme as it was, as in a good way, as his final 10 games of his rookie season. And I don't think it's going to be as bad as it looked a few of the games last year when he was playing heavy minutes and probably having that core issue. So I think somewhere in the middle where I just want to see him consistently keep his percentages at a decent level, because I think he is a good enough shooter where he shouldn't be shooting as bad at splits as he did last year. And I want to see him continue to learn how to play off ball and not necessarily need the ball in his hands to be engaged in games, and then finish plays defensively, not stop and put his hands down at the end of them. Yeah. As long as he's making progress in those things towards completing plays on the defensive end and becoming a capable player off ball. On the offensive end, I think I'd be happy with whatever happens with him this year. But I mean, obviously, if he comes back and looks awesome, that's going to be great too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Tyler Smith says, how can we say that this isn't a good lower seed playoff team adding Sharp? Seems like we got a decent amount of talent, because this is almost the same team you had last year that sucked. Like, Sharp is going to help offensively on nights when he's on, but on nights when he's not, I mean, how much of an impact is he going to have? Because he's inconsistent defensively. His playmaking, he's made some good strides there. It's not behind schedule by any means, but he's not, Scoot is a playmaker. He's not Ant is a playmaker, at least for others. So he's kind of shot dependent. You got some talent, but we just saw this team offensively get completely destroyed in the half court against Golden State. We just saw them lose by 35 against Golden State. Like, sure, they beat the Pelicans twice, but do they have more talent than the Pelicans? Probably not. Do they have as good of a system and as good of depth and veteran role players and a star like Steph Curry and as good of a coach as Steve Kerr? No. So, like, what teams are you expecting them to be better than is the question. Because it's one thing to say, oh, we got a lot of talent, or we got some good young talent. Like, I like our roster. We should be a playing team. Like, okay, that's a different conversation than who are we better than. Because in previous years, yeah, maybe this team could have actually pushed for a play-in. This year, in this West, it's a different conversation. The teams at the bottom of the West are much, much better. You just saw the Rockets become a 500 team last year. The Spurs have Victor Wembanyama and got better, added some good role players. So what 5 teams are the Blazers better than? Because they have to be better than 5 teams to make the play-in. That's my question. So if you guys think we're in a play-in, okay, what 5 teams are you better than? You posted that as a tweet, Eric, before the season, and people were saying, the Lakers, they're trash. Stuff like that, and it's like, man, okay, that's just hopium. And the Lakers are 3-0 right now and look really, really good with JJ Redick, and they got LeBron. Like, it's we're not better than LeBron AD-led Lakers. So I can understand if you say the Clippers without Kawhi and the Jazz. Any other teams, like, I do not agree with the Blazers being better than. Maybe the Pelicans if they're this bad, but go ahead.
Yeah, Clippers, Pelicans, I could buy your argument if you want to say it. But there are going to be teams with injuries. That's not my point here. But my point is you can't just say, oh, they're a playing team because there will be teams with injuries. Like,
we could.
Yeah,
we
yes,
are as
we
likely
could.
as any other team to be that team with injuries.
And we could be the number 1 seed if every team has injuries.
Yeah.
Like, SGA and Chet could go down, and Jokic could go down, and like every team could have injuries, and we could be the Kings from 2 years ago and have no injuries and be the 3rd seed or something. But like, like you can't just say that that's going to be the reason. If you think they're a play-in team, it's got to be because you think they're good enough to beat out teams, right?
Yeah. So if let me know what teams you think the Blazers will be better than in the live chat. We also got a comment that says Brogdon was carrying this team. Denny and Clingan have been below mid so far. In what world has Clingan been below mid?
He hasn't even played enough to be below mid.
Yeah, like what? As a rookie, like he's had a positive impact when he's in the game. In what world is he below mid? Number 1. Number 2, like, okay, Denny, if you only look at shooting, has been awful, but if you don't look at shooting, has been really good. So how do you weigh the shooting versus everything else? I don't really even like saying Denny's been below mid. Like, okay, he hasn't shot the ball well, but that's not all there is to basketball, man.
Yeah. Yep.
We got a Clippers, Grizzlies. We are not better than a healthy Grizzlies team. Rockets, I mean...
Why so many people said Rockets in response to that? Did they not pay attention last year?
I guess not. They lost Şengün for like the last, 20 games and still ended up winning 41 times. We won 21 times. Like, how... In what world are we making up 20 wins on the Rockets?
And they added Reed Shepherd.
Yeah. So, I mean, Amen's going to take a step, right? They're a young team. They're well coached. They're better coached than the Blazers are. Like, in what world are the Blazers better than the Rockets this year? I just don't see how. And then the Warriors is also another... Did you guys watch opening night, man? Like,
well, have you seen them play since? They look pretty dang good.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, if we had the best coach in the league, maybe it's a different conversation. Part of this is like I have no faith in Chauncey to coach this team to any sort of like success. I have no faith in that. So,
And like people are gonna think we're being negative, I guess some people, but like
hey, we're being realistic, man. It's not a bad
it's
thing. You got a great draft coming up. You're developing. If your development goes so well, you're somehow better than these teams. Okay, great. Like that's a really good
yeah.
thing. So if they are great, but I mean, let's be realistic. This team was projected like 21, 22 wins in the bottom of the West. Like agreeing with consensus is not even being negative. It's just being more realistic. We had these same conversations when we were like 3-3 last year. With people saying, "Oh, they could be a play-in team. Like this
They've
team
turned
could
the
actually
corner.
be good." Like, and then how many times do we win? You know, like that's the unfortunate reality. Listen, I would love for this team to be a playoff team and have a really bright future with the path to contentionship and all that in front, like this year. I would love for that. I would love to do post-game shows after playoff games. I would love for people to be heavily invested in this team because they're good again. Trust me, I would love that as much as any other Blazer fan because not only is it great for me as a fan, it's great for the channel too. It's great for the community. It's a lot of fun when the team is actually able to win some games. But they're just not there yet. They're not at that point yet.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, it's okay if they're not. Like that's the thing people I think misunderstand about us. Like we're not like mad if they don't make the playoffs this year. I think that's a natural progression, and it takes time to build your team up. You don't just go from being a horrible team and not making very many changes to being a playoff team very often, especially when you have the same coach. Like sometimes you can add a JJ Redick and things look much different. You're running all kinds of different stuff, and the coach is just so good that it does look better, and you do have a big jump. But without adding like a huge impact player, it just doesn't change that much. So it is okay to have, like, if we're a 26, 27 win team, I still think that means we're on the progression up, and there's still things to be positive and bright about. It doesn't mean that we're down on the way this rebuild is going by any stretch.
Yep, absolutely. Well said. Real quick, the Blazers' next matchup is tomorrow against the Sacramento Kings. We'll be live with the post-game show, hopefully in my studio, and that'll be probably a little bit longer of a post-game show, still working out some kinks, right? So make sure you tune in 9:30 p.m. approximately tomorrow night for that, and stay tuned with the socials, now linked in the description, to be able to potentially participate in our giveaways tomorrow night. But I also want to take a look at BetUS's spread line for this game, Eric. We'll be picking spreads tomorrow. We have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games tomorrow to pick from for picks against the spread. The Blazers are a 12-point underdog as they head into Sacramento. I don't want to make my pick early, but 12-point underdogs, I like that line for the Blazers. But last time I said that, they lost to the Warriors by 30-something. So I don't know. But if you guys are super confident in the Blazers tomorrow night going into Sacramento and being competitive, this is a pretty non-competitive line. 12-point underdogs is kind of wild. So if you want to get in on this action, remember to use that promo code YouTube150. 150% bonus on your first deposit is what it will give you. 125% on your next two up to $2,000. That's a great deal. And you can potentially reap the rewards of this line because 12 points, I think, is a little too much, Eric.
Yeah, it seems a little high. Especially, I mean, it's not like the Kings have been killing teams or anything like that. So
they're 0-2.
Yeah, so yeah, I do like that line, but that also screams take the Blazers. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I might go Kings on picks against the spread tomorrow just because I'm mad that I went Blazers and then they got crushed by the Warriors. So if you want to tune in for our picks against the spread segment, it's on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Podcast. That is linked in the description box below. We'll be live about 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So hopefully you can join us for that. We'll take any other questions you have, and then we'll wrap up the stream. If you guys don't have anything, then we'll get out of here because I would like to watch the rest of this Niner game, Eric.
Yeah.
It was nice that they could come back and take the lead. They need this win. put him into a tie with the Seahawks and Cardinals at 4-4, and then you got the Rams at 3-4. So win, you're tied for first. Lose, you're in last place. Bot says, my friend was telling me Bronny's not going to be good. He's not going to be top 100 all time. Bots have the craziest ideas in their head. Yeah, not going to be top 100 all time, man. Listen, it'll be a good thing if he becomes a top 100 player in the league at any time. Like, if he's on a top 100 player list, that's a success. He was the 55th pick. Like, what do people expect?
You could almost say that about any player ever drafted, that they're not going to be top 100 player of all time, and you'd be correct almost every time.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Let's go the North.
Yeah, I was waiting. See, I was happy, but I wasn't going to react to that pick, man, because I'm going for high score in our fantasy league. It gives bonus money. So Bo Nix almost gave me a heart attack, though. My goodness, dude. He had 24 points in the first half. I thought I was going to choke.
To get his feet. Oh.
Nah, he got his elbow down. Yeah, he's good. So, yeah, we'll be live a couple streams tomorrow. Look forward to that. We got a busy week, Eric. We got Sunday, Monday. You know, today being Sunday. We got Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But no Halloween. So I'm sure you're happy about that with kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and also I guess I don't own this home, but I'm basically like a homeowner now. So I guess I got to get candy and stuff.
Yeah, dude. You could turn off the lights, I guess.
I know, kind of first time experience. I mean, I'll pass out candy, I guess. What day is that on? Thursday? Oh, I have Rec League on Thursday. Dang.
Man.
Play basketball. No, wait, we don't even have Rec League on Thursday because it is Halloween. Okay, yeah, I guess I have an excuse because I'm not going to be playing basketball. Anyway, yeah, basically, so go ahead.
You should dress up, Torian, and make your house like the cool house to go to for candy.
We don't got the time to do all that, man. I don't even know. I'm trying to figure out how to get a dining table right now, not be the cool house. I'm just trying to figure out how to be a functional house. Okay.
Live stream you handing out candy to kids.
Yeah, that's a little strange. We are a Blazers channel. We are not a vlog channel. I think we would lose our viewership if I turned it into a vlog channel, unfortunately. My life's not that interesting, but yeah, no.
Another channel.
Yeah, another channel. Yeah, more things to click on in the description below. Yeah, busy week, man. That's why I don't even care about cutting this stream a little short. We got so many streams this week. We got 2 Picks Against the Spread, Blazers Press Live, and then we got 4 more post-game shows this week. So that's 6 streams. So you guys better get used to us. Dress up as CJ Ellaby. Oh, I forgot to shout out Eli Hanna opening night. Gave me a signed CJ Ellaby card, which is funny.
Yeah.
Which is funny, yeah. So I would show it off, but it's in my studio room. So luckily this week we'll get a table. We're putting together bar stools tonight, and we tried to buy bar stools and we bought dining table chairs, and yeah, we haven't had anywhere to sit and eat. We have a big old island and don't even have anywhere to sit at. So we're working on it. Yeah, we'll have our first call-in night on Friday. So still have to figure out the setup for that, but we'll have our first call-in night on Friday. What were you going to say?
You should dress up as Aladdin, a.k.a. DeAndre Ayton.
What?
Oh, you didn't see
reference?
that?
No.
On media day, he looked like a genie. He came out of a genie bottle or something.
Dude, if you look at media day pictures, he made them take so many pictures of him compared to other players. It's so funny.
There's behind the scenes with that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Turn that corner diva.
But so my thing is, November is when I'm gonna eat healthy and like consistently work out, right? Because it's after Halloween. Until Halloween, I am completely comfortable eating like crap. I'm gonna eat a bunch of chocolate on Halloween night, and then November we put that work in.
Man, I went to the gym last night. I was like sitting in the parking lot, like I don't really want to go. I should just go home. And I forced myself to go in. It just feels so much better when I work out. So I was glad I did.
Oh, absolutely. I need to start doing rehab for the ankle and all that, especially like only playing basketball Tuesday. That's perfect time. What star in the league fits with us minus Grant? I mean, Wemby fits with us phenomenally. Oh, they're gonna. Sorry, I'm not gonna spoil this game. Anyway, hopefully you guys tune in with us tomorrow night. If we didn't get to your questions, we'll go a little bit longer tomorrow night. I'm trying not to react to this Niner game because I'm ahead of Eric, but it's tough. So, Eric, any final words or final questions you wanted to get to after you unmute yourself?
They call it the close guard or the pick play.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just want to thank everyone for watching. Hope everyone has a good night and hope to see you on both of our streams tomorrow.
Do you want a spoiler?
Sure.
They took
Did we
away
score?
the flag.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's probably bad for me, though. Oh, it's good for the Niners, so I don't care.
Why is that bad for you?
Playing. I'm up. I was up
Oh yeah, you're playing Chase.
23, and I'm playing Kittle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Chase's team is the team of destiny.
Should have been a penalty.
Because I'm trying to get high score.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Did he push him into him? No, not really.
Yeah.
That probably should have been a penalty.
Yeah. They came back though. They were down what, 10-3? That's looking bad, but they picked up steam, so that's good. So yeah, we'll be live tomorrow night. Please come hang out with us. We're doing some fun giveaway stuff. We'll spin a wheel, participate in our socials, and you'll have a chance to spin that thing and a chance to win a signed Anthony Simons jersey. I wonder how many giveaway nights we have to do before we give that away, because it's gonna be like a sliver. It's gonna be a sliver.
Or someone lands on it the first.
Yeah, nah. So yeah. Anyway, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring us. Final words, Eric.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Appreciate you guys. We'll figure out the internet and all that stuff, so that won't be a problem anymore. And excited to introduce some things to the post-game show and social media and all that stuff. So looking forward to it. Excited to see this Blazer team on the court again tomorrow night. I kind of like back-to-backs after a win on the first night. I'm excited to see them play again, where early in the season I feel that way, right? So
yeah.
Excited that we got another game tomorrow to watch this basketball team. So anyway, appreciate